G'day guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another video of my Let's Play of Mutiny Pirate Survival. How we doing? Hope you guys are well. So we are going to continue with our how-tos Let's Play of the map of Mutiny. So basically, if you guys haven't seen this before, I conducted a mini-series for 2023 on how to clear zones in Mutiny, which came in at a good time because a lot of the zones in Mutiny got refreshed. So this is how I would approach to clear these certain zones. Now, we left off by completing the Walnut Island and the Healy Island. So today we're going to complete off the north and we're just going to finish off with the Pewter Island and the Hoofed Island. And then I want to spend a video dedicated to the Pirates Camp 2 later on. But for now, today, we're going to be heading over to the Hoofed Island. So let's go ahead and go over and we'll get started. So while I'm waiting for my character to head over to the island here, this is what I'm going to be bringing along. Now, the rules of this is I try to make it zone period correct, if that makes sense. So basically all I'm trying to achieve here is effectively trying to get over to an island, and also in this sense here is I'm bringing along weapons, heals, and what type of backpack that I have, which would be relevant to those that have actually gotten up to these levels of, you know, the map, so to speak. So all I'm trying to achieve here is how I would do it without being overpowered, basically. So let's see if we can survive the Hoofed Island first off. So let's go ahead and do this. So a lot of the times, as you guys would know so far, I particularly try to basically crawl my way through a lot of the island itself. So what we're going to do is I want to try and find things that I'm interested in, that I want to take, and then hopefully we can sort of try and navigate our way through without getting affected by any sort of enemies or the aggressive side of the animal speak in this island here. So see if we can manipulate our way to go around here. So the main objective for me is to try and get a lot of heals. So that's what I'm going to try and do here today. So if I want, I can easily get berries. If I want to take out certain tamed animals, or I guess neutral animals, so to speak, you can. And this is what you'll probably expect to get once you sort of tackle those fellas. Now, there are other animals in here as well if you do want to take those ones on, but for me, I'm not really interested in doing that as such. So I can see that we've got a pirate over there as well. So let's see if we can navigate our way around. And nope, okay. So sometimes you're going to have to engage as well. So you're just going to have to be careful in this respect. And within a couple of shots, I've been able to take this guy and dispatch him. And I'm using a wheel-lock pistol as well, which is a copper tier 2 weapon. So at least this way it gives you guys a bit of an idea on how I'm going to sort of achieve it with what type of tools and resources that I've got at my disposal. Like I said, I really don't want to make this a product of me being overpowered or anything like that. So this is how I want to do it. And hopefully, yeah, this works out and you guys will get something out of it. So especially with the with these aggressive animals. Now, in my case and in my use case and example, I do have a high spirit count, so you might find that I might not aggravate these guys. So that's just something to be mindful of here. So as you can see, he's not affected. But if you guys have a low spirit count, which I would assume that you guys would, then yes, you guys will no doubtedly attract these animals here, and you will have to sort of take these fellas on. So we've got a NPC. If you really want to engage with this guy, you can. Not always recommended, and especially if he does take off. As you can see, you can arouse the attention of other parties within the zone and map. So you just got to be careful on how you're sort of going to do this. So don't use this as a or don't use this example as I've seen, as I've shown you guys. Sorry. Oop, let's get out of here before we die. Oh, nearly bit the bullet on that one. That would have been embarrassing now, would it? Now, what I was sort of trying to say is that example there is definitely not representative on what we're sort of trying to achieve here. So purely, like I said, this is more of an educational piece and how I would go upon this. And like I said, I'd rather use detuned weapons and things like that, so at least this way it shows that it can be achievable. You guys can sort of take these fellas down and more or less survive with with easy to get materials from previous islands. So it is doable, and you will find that you can tackle these islands without having to be overpowered or anything like that. So the other thing I sort of want to try to emphasize is the crawl tactic as well. You can come at these animals sort of side on, so at least this way they don't see you, and that way you can make your way around without being detected. So that is the main, I guess, the main gist that I want to sort of emphasize here. Alright, let's see if we can try and make our way around this way, and hopefully we can just sort of sail by without having to arouse any suspicion, which we don't, and in that case that's rewarded ourselves with some more jasmine, which is fantastic. And then you just continue your way around. Now, as I've said it time and time again, don't be scared in leaving the zone and coming back if you have to for whatever reason. As you can see there, I've just literally got in between 3 enemies and I've had no issues at all. But that's pretty much it. How I would do this island, and it only took all of 5 to 6 minutes. So you can easily leave the zone and you can run across to the Walnut Island, which should be your closest island if I'm not mistaken, or you can go to the Damned Island. Doesn't really matter. But if you're grinding for resources, then yeah, you probably would want to go to the Walnut Island over the Damned Island, if that makes sense. That way, if you want to go in that island, then you can pick up some resources and then go back and again pick up those resources from the Hoofed Island if you'd like to do that. But that's just a little bit of an overview on how I would do the Hoofed Island. And as I said, you don't have to be maxed out or anything like that. You can go in there with barely anything, so long as you've got some heals. Armor would be recommended in this island, and guns, look, as good as they are, not necessarily that you need them. So you can probably get away with spears, bows potentially, and from there you can try and sort of get as many resources as you can. Leave the island if it gets too heated, come back, everything resets, and then you can try again and see if you can get that little bit extra. What I would recommend, and I recommend for any island, it doesn't matter what level you are, what skills that you have, don't overexert yourself. Make sure that you guys are doing it within your means, if that makes sense, and comfortability. So don't overdo it, because you can die. Anyway, aside from that, let's head over to the Pewter Island, which will be the final island for this video today. Now, much like the same from the Hoofed Island, we're going to be doing the same sort of tactic. Now, I'm not particularly after anything here. If there's anything that piques my interest, then yes, I will definitely go for it. But in most circumstances, I'm probably just going to continue on my merry way. Now, I didn't bring any pickaxes or axes. I should have, because I would have picked up some of these materials here today. But as you can see, the Pewter Island is tin ore heavy. So you're going to find yourself with a lot of tin ore, and especially if you want to get yourself into the bronze side of equipment, so tools, weapons, armor as well, which will also sort of aid in that. And obviously you've got some walnut here if you need it. And yeah, so this is how I would sort of creep around and sort of get my way through. Now, these guys here, I probably wouldn't engage in these, regardless if it's the ambush or if it's this guy that supports you while you're trying to kill the rest of the crew there. I wouldn't recommend doing it unless if you've got some firepower behind you. That would be my recommendation. Now here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my way through, but let's give it a shot. Okay, so we've got a skilled pirate over there, and then you've got some you've got some charcoal here if you wanted to pick that up. Now with this, I probably wouldn't go any further than this, as you can see, because you've got too many enemies here, and it's just going to set you up for a massive fail. So I would not do that, but I would definitely just sort of try and break out from their their proximity. And from here, we can sort of make our way through, and you can easily and arguably get yourself around the map pretty much, I would say, a strong 85 to 90% of the map without having to sort of intrude on some of these enemies here. Now you've got some purples as well. I should be okay with the purples, but as I said again, you definitely don't want to make yourself known. So if you do want to desperately get some of these materials, then try your luck, but honestly you're probably going to find yourself in a bit of an attack, and I wouldn't recommend that personally. Now it's interesting here. Now I would have gotten found by these guys, but there is some iron here, so yeah, so that's something that you can always take into account, that you can get some a small amount of iron, which is a tier 4 resource, not a tier 3, even though that we're in a tier 3 island. So again, just wanted to sort of make that known that that is a possibility, and it sort of helps you sort of get yourself up and ready to move on to the south when it sort of comes time to go to the south effectively. Okay, and then over here, then you got some more. Now, if you really have to deal with someone, if you really want to get, say, that precious, charcoal, then you can try and take on an enemy. Now, this one here would have been the easiest out of the lot, to be perfectly honest with you. So, I'm just going to go ahead and eat that anyway. Excuse me. And here we go. We got one of the wild animals that just come at you. So, you're best to try and sort of take these fellas out or leave the island entirely. So, what I mean by that is jump out to the map, leave the island, reset it completely, and go back, because that enemy is going to continuously come at you. So if you want to avoid that, that's the only resolve that you can do. But other than that, you can strategically try and take down your enemies if you need to, and from there you can continue on and get those resources if you need to, of course. But if you don't, then you don't need to engage. But as you can see, and as I'm going along, you can pick up a lot of resources as you're doing this sort of method here. And I know it's pretty much a rinse and repeat thing, but I just wanted to just at least highlight each zone and sort of give you a navigation way that I would have done it if it was me. And that way, at least you guys get yourselves, with some pretty decent resources. So it is quite achievable. Like I said, you don't need the best gear in the world as I'm doing it now. I've barely used my pistol, so here I'm probably not going to be able to get through here or any further here, but you can always, again, like I said, strategically try and take these fellas out. This one here is one of those NPCs which will attack the other NPC, so that way you'll be able to take this guy out on a 1v1 basis. So that's another way that you can do it. So rather than 2 versus 1, you may as well do it as a 1v1, and you can pick up some valuable resources this way and see what's in this as well. So that's always another way of doing it. But that's pretty much it, guys. I know it's pretty much of a short video, and I just want to really sort of highlight this with you guys today. And I didn't want to include the pirate base camp being the second one in saying that, because it would have made this video a lot longer than what it needed to be. So I just wanted to make it, as they say, short, sharp and sweet, and concise, to the point. And I'm hoping that you guys would appreciate that as well. But let's duck out for a sec. As I said, we'll quickly just glaze over what the next video will be all about. So pretty much it's the pirates camp. Okay, so what I would definitely recommend in this one here, it is going to be a little bit more difficult because you're going to be dealing with a lot more enemies and less, a lot more pirates and less animals. Okay, so you're going to have attacking enemies constantly. All right, and again, there's ways to sort of do it, and there's going to be a way that I'm going to approach it when we go to do it. But so what I would reference in doing is I would actually upgrade the clothing to the sturdy sailor's outfit as opposed to the sailor's outfit in normal. Disregard what I've got here. I just ran out of space in my base, so I've just kept it there for that moment. But I just wanted to highlight it would be this armor set is what I would go for. Yes, I'll be definitely using wheel lock pistols as a base, and if you've got accessibility to the elegant wheel lock pistol, I would recommend in using that too. And if you were lucky to kill NPCs in these zones as well, you may have got a broken down flintlock pistol at best, and I would recommend using those as well. And if you've got the ability to repair, and if you've got the white repair toolkit, then I would recommend in using those as well to repair the pistol, so you get a little bit more durability out of it, because these ones here have a little bit more firepower. You might notice that mine have quite a bit of firepower, particularly with the elegant version. That's only because that I found a good amount of tubes to upgrade those over time. So yours may differ to mine, and I just wanted to highlight that. So if you do find the flintlock, and if you're able to repair it via the repair bench, then I'd recommend in doing that if that's available to you. If not, then you can just use the broken down version as it is, and if you've accumulated a few of those, then that should hopefully get you through most of that map, and then you can revert back to the weaker weapons if that makes sense, or try and use the weaker weapons first, and then you go to the end where you've got a boss at the end there. And definitely, like I said, I'll go through that with you guys when the time comes. But that's it, guys. That's everything I wanted to sort of show you guys today. Hopefully you found it interesting, informative, helpful. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. Leave a like, share if you can, and if you guys are new to the channel or not and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos. Alrighty guys, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.